Twins, watch out. They win game 2 versus the Angels. 13 more hits today at the plate. Final score 5-1. Full deep dive coming up on the Minnesota Twins postcast.
This is the Twins postcast. Your instant game reaction for the Minnesota Twins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's going on? Back in the lab, back at it. Another Twins postcast right here on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Network. Your team every day. Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Got my main man with me, Lou Hennesey. He's on X at Sweet Lou MN. Twins expert, by the way, over at ZoneCoverageMN.com. Lou, in the span of, let's see, not even 24 hours, because the Twins played last night, the Twins have somehow put up 16 runs and 21 hits. Was there just like a switch that needed to be flipped in the locker room or the dugout, or what's going on with my Minnesota Twins all of a sudden?
Boy, I don't know. I'm sure we'll get to it a little later, but maybe they have some avenging to do, for losing one of their top rookies. That could have something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe there's something in the water.
Something.
Could be the nice weather. Could be
Did they bust out the summer sausage again? Is that what's going on? Did they got a
new... know what? I'm going to be there tomorrow. I will do a little snooping, and I will see if I can get a shot of some rally sausage here.
Love that. Love that. Lots to get into. Again, Twins bats starting to heat up a little bit more. Again, 13 more hits today, 8 hits yesterday. Simeon Woods-Richardson's day on the mound. He was fantastic. But first, quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by Game Time. Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create an account. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. All right, so Twins looking for back-to-back wins versus the Angels in game 2 today. Again, Woods-Richardson on the mound. He was pretty solid, man. 5 1/3, 7-0 strikeout walk ratio. Only allowed 1 run on the day. Meanwhile, on the other side, flip it over. The bats keep warming up, man. Correa, 2 RBIs. Brooks Lee with a double RBI later in the game. Twins put up 13 more hits. 21 hits and 16 runs in their last 2 games. They win this game 2, 5-1, 11-16 now on the year, just 5 games below 500. Well, what's your biggest takeaways today? Kind of your A topics. What stuck out the most today, I guess?
This just felt like such a blueprint win. You know what I mean? In the offseason, they're thinking the bullpen is going to be really, really solid. It might be the strength of the team. We just need a starting pitcher that can take us into the 6th, the 7th inning so we can pass it off into some of these electric arms. And we saw Sim live up to the challenge today. You know, he 5 1/3, I think, is what he ended with. He was looking fantastic. Like you said, he was pounding the strike zone, which is something he's going to need to do if he wants to have success. One of my favorite things about him, though, is something that you're not going to find in the score sheet. And that was when Rocco came to take him out of the game. The first thing Sim did is he turned around and he gave high fives to the rest of the infield and said, hey, go finish it off for me, boys. So he's got excellent charisma. I think he's going to be a fixture in this rotation for a long time, honestly. So hopefully this start was a sign of what's to come for Sim the rest of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. Love that. I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive here later on in segment 2 on him as well. But last show, do you remember the last show you and I did together was game 3 versus the White Sox? That was Thursday afternoon. We had the brooms ready. We were looking for the 3-game sweep, and you called it out. They went 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. Again, that was Thursday. Now, all of a sudden, these last 2 games, they're, let's see, quick math, 10 for 25 with runners in scoring position. 4 for 9 yesterday in game 1, 6 for 16 today. I mean, honestly, just to have 25 attempts with runners in scoring positions in 2 games is kind of wild, but 21 hits in 2 days. Do you feel like these bats are starting to actually warm up for real this time? We've seen, a little sneak preview here and there, but nothing consistent. Do you think this lineup really actually does look competitive again?
Yeah, like I said the other day, it was very frustrating to see so much traffic on the base paths without them being able to kind of cash those in. The traffic was a good thing. I don't want to make it seem like they should go all boom and bust or everything, but I think the dam might be starting to break a little bit, and hopefully we're going to see the runs kind of follow them along the way here. Like you said, you look up and down the lineup, and you see a lot of guys kind of approaching that league average, and for how deep they were in the hole just a week ago, you will take a lot of these hits from a lot of these guys that are going to play significant roles on this team if they're going to get back in this thing.
This is the Locked On Player of the Game,
MVP of the game. Again, Twins win 5-1, back-to-back winners, 2 in a row. Who was it and why?
I wish I could just give it to the bullpen. Every bullpen guy that came out tonight, they were complete buzzsaws. Starting with Brock the Glock Stewart coming on in relief of Sim, and then passing it off to Griffin Jacks, who struck out the side and is quietly kind of getting himself back on the rails after that kind of shaky stretch a couple weeks ago. And then passing it off to Sweet Lou Varland and Jean Duran to wrap this thing up. So I wish I could just give it to the entire bullpen, but if I had to give it to just one of them, I'll give it to Jax, especially after what a tough, game he had exactly a week ago, I want to say, against Atlanta.
No, can't go wrong with that. Again, couple options there today for sure, which is a good problem to have. Plenty more deep dive from this one, including our offensive unsung hero in this Twins lineup. That's all coming up, though, right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode brought to us by FanDuel. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. Right now, FanDuel is giving you a chance at a huge return, $250 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 wager. And why I love FanDuel, when you get the hunch in the middle of the game, you can go check out the latest stats. You can view live play-by-play, all on the same page where you're placing your bets. Again, $250 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you hit your first $5 wager. Go check it all out over at FanDuel.com. Get in some MLB future action while you're there. Twins still plus 280 right now to win the AL Central. It's all sitting up over at FanDuel.com. Again, check it all out over at FanDuel.com and get $250 in bonus bets, guaranteed when you win your first $5 bet. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the MLB. All right, favorite part of the day, nerdy stat of the daytime. You got some sort of crazy stat, fun analytic, Twins related today? What do you got laid on us?
They were the broadcast crew was really raving about Byron Buxton and his aggressiveness on the base paths so far this year. And they brought up that he already has 6 stolen bases on the year. That's approaching the figure that he has over the last 5 years combined in the first month of the season. He usually, starts out, a little slow, a little cautious, maybe hasn't had a full off season. And so he doesn't move as much on the base paths. But this just goes to show you what happens when Byron Buxton hits the ground running on a season and has a normal off season, which he has never had, it seems like, since his debut back in 2015. So I love that. Love to see the aggressiveness, not just from him, but from the rest of the team too. Base running has been a huge strength of this club, even through their struggles.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Kind of felt like the Twins were in control of this one for most of the day. Now, easy to say in hindsight. We all know here, especially on this show, 2-3 run lead for the Twins isn't always the safest thing. But when was the biggest turning point in this one? When was it and why?
I already brought it up, but I have to say that when they turned it over to the bullpen, that's something that the Angels weren't able to accomplish either today or last night. When the Twins turned to Brock Stewart, things were, like you said, seemed really in control, and we haven't seen that from the Angels so far in these 2 games. And for a team that's kind of in lockstep with us in the standings, I want to say there may be a game or 2 ahead of us. That's a good sign of hopefully we can be the bigger fish in this series and move on to the next one.
Yeah, let me go back to the offense, the bats, because again, starting to show some signs of life. Again, small sample, 2 games, but 16 runs in their last 2 games. That's obviously very nice to see. It feels like it's been kind of top heavy, a 2-man show. Larnach, Buxton, both hitting the snot of the ball right now. Home run in the past 2 games for both of them. But who else outside of those 2 guys do you think is really starting to contribute the most to this lineup offensively? Like, who's the guy or 2 that kind of been a glue guy at the plate for this team and has been showing up consistently despite maybe not wowing in the box score like the Buxtons and Larnachs, if you will?
Yeah, I think the bottom of the lineup has done a really good job these last couple of days. I think Christian Vasquez was over, but Jonah Bride had a few hits. Harrison Bader got on base a bunch these last couple games. Maybe someone like Brooks Lee, who he had a late start to the season while he was recovering from his injury, but since he's come up, he's put together some really good professional at-bats. He's hit the ball really hard, which we've heard from, numerous guys on this team, but Brooks Lee's actually finding some grass out there, and he's really contributing at the bottom of the lineup as somebody who maybe we could be comfortable with batting leadoff or batting in the 2-hole someday if he keeps this up here. So especially with Willie Castro being gone, Brooks Lee's versatility has been huge, and he's been a big step up in the lineup as well.
You mentioned Willie Castro. Any updates at all? Royce Lewis, Willie Castro, anybody? Obviously just got Pablo Lopez back last night. That was great to see. Any update on the injury front, if you will, for the Twins?
Yeah, so Royce Lewis had a busy day yesterday. He was with the Saints during the afternoon, made it over to Target Field that night to be on the bench with his teammates, and then he even made it courtside at the Timberwolves game last night. So he's been really busy. Sounds like he's feeling really good. He started his rehab program with St. Paul on Friday, and he came out of it feeling pretty good, it sounds like. So if all goes well, I think it's a stretch to say that he would meet the team in Cleveland, but maybe that series against the Red Sox afterwards, that could be pretty fun, seeing Royce Lewis pelt the Green Monster there. I would love to see him as soon as that, but it really just depends on how his body responds at this point.
For sure. Day-to-day sounds like sooner than later. Obviously, would love to get him back for the Cleveland series, but again, don't want to push things over a long gauntlet season. Don't go anywhere. Quick preview. Game 3 tomorrow. Joe Ryan on the mound for that. Searching for the sweep. It's all coming up right after this. Quick reminder, today's episode also brought to us by Prize Picks. Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app, now with more than 10 million members to date. And for me and my money, it's just by far the most easiest. It's the most exciting way to get in on all the action while you watch your favorite sports and you watch your favorite players. And it's so simple, too. All you got to do, you pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. Watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season officially here. Could be strikeouts, could be RBIs, home runs, stolen bases, you name it, they got it. Take your pick on more or less, add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Plus, they now offer Apple Pay, quick and easy deposits into your account all season long. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 instantly with any $5 wager. All right, game 3 tomorrow. Trying to bust out the brooms again here. Couldn't get it done, right? Couldn't get the sweep versus the White Sox 3 days ago on Thursday. But can they do the impossible here, Lou? You told us on Thursday they have not won 3 games in a row since August of last year. Can they do it tomorrow with Joe Ryan on the mound? Got to like their chances, right?
I think now is as good a chance as any against a struggling Angels team. You got some positive momentum going here. Even just the fact that they've won 2 series in a row is something they haven't done since August last year. So maybe that creates some momentum in the vibes department, let's say, and hopefully they can keep it stretching.
For sure. I know you're always happy to take 2 out of 3. You'll take that all year for that matter, but especially against below average teams, though. If you're going to be a serious contender, it'd be great to see them get hot and be able to put a long winning streak together. It doesn't need to be the 13-game winning streak they had last year on this time of the year, but hopefully that starts tomorrow afternoon. They can keep that momentum rolling, especially into that huge 4-game series with Cleveland that starts Monday night. Let's go to what we'll be talking about.
This is what you'll be talking about.
All right, winners of 2 in a row. Hoping for the sweep tomorrow. Bats starting to get on fire a little bit here these last 24 hours. What's the water cooler talk at work after this one? Or are people texting in the Twins group chat messages? What are they saying?
Look, I'm not trying to be a buzzkill, but a lot of the texts I've received today have been pretty unfortunate based on the injury to Luke Keeschel last night. He got hit by a pitch, broke his forearm. It was a non-displaced fracture, which is, I guess a silver lining in that it doesn't need any surgical intervention. It looks like it's more just needs 6 to 8 weeks to get the bone to kind of fuse back. And then after that, then you're looking at a rehab assignment. So it's looking like maybe July, if all goes well. I don't want to put any, reporting out there, but it's very unfortunate because Luke was just so exciting to see. He was a jolt in their arm, and hopefully he can come back and be their, a big acquisition in the middle of the season that can kind of propel them forward.
Yeah, they were already struggling with big injuries already earlier in the year. Yes, they got Pablo back finally, but again, no Royce Lewis, no Willie Castro. Keeschel, we talked about it on Wednesday and Thursday. Keeschel was that spark plug, man. Yeah. A little lightning bug in the lineup that really seemed to help. just that lineup, just get a little activated, if you will. So hopefully sooner than later, we can get him back maybe after the All-Star break. Twins win back-to-back versus the Angels. Game 2, today's final score 5-1. 11-16 now on the year, 5 games below 500. Huge shout out to all you guys, all the everydayers out there that always make us your first listen. All you guys coming in the chat with us from game to game. Make sure you like and subscribe. Go check out all of Lou's work on X at Sweet Lou MN+. He's always ripping up great work over at ZoneCoverageMN.com as well. Luke Inman on X at Luke_Spinman. Again, game 3 tomorrow, 12:40, first pitch. Who we got? Joe Ryan on the mound. Excuse me. Yep. Joe Ryan on the mound. Catch us right here, same time, same place. But until then, signing out.